Alright, good evening ladies, welcome back to Compound Interesting. In today's video, I just want to do a quick one on Solana, comparing Solana now to Ethereum in 2017, because there's a lot of interesting similarities between those two scenarios, and just give the bullish and bearish and the risks with Solana and why it's pretty much the only altcoin I've been buying for the past few weeks and months. Like anything under $20 to me seems like interesting value point for Solana. So let's get straight into it with the just a straight up price comparisons to Ethereum in 2017 and Solana now, and then we'll get into the kind of more bullish, more interesting things. But first of all, we can see this is the chart for Solana in 2022. We can see it topped out at about $80 billion in market cap at a price of about $250. And this is the Ethereum chart from 2015 to now. And you can see the two cycles that Ethereum went through. So Ethereum in the first cycle topped out at about $130 billion in market cap. So that's right around the same ballpark as Solana topped out in this cycle. So $50 billion in the difference, like that's nothing, you know. But yeah, you get what I mean, like similar valuations. So what happened next in 2017 for Ethereum? Ethereum dropped 94% from $1,500 to $80, like roughly those numbers, and Solana dropped 96% from 240 or 250 to $8. So the extra 2% that Solana dropped is probably because of the whole FTX fiasco and Sam Bankman-Fried kind of being one of the pillars of Solana, or one of the major backers of Solana. Okay, so what happened after this massive price crash for Ethereum in 2017? Ethereum went on to do a 50x from the low. It actually bottomed out at like $80 or $90 at the very lowest point, and it went all the way, as we know, to well over $4,400. So a 50x. So if Solana did the same thing, it would put Solana at a price of about $500, which I think is pretty realistic in the next bull cycle. I think it could go even higher, potentially up to like $1,000. I wouldn't be totally shocked if Solana is very successful and onboards a lot of users and becomes the number 2 smart contract chain, which it probably already is. But if it continues to be successful and the next bull cycle is anything like this previous bull cycle, yeah, then I could see Solana in the $500 to $1,000 range easily. So as we can see from anyone who bought Ethereum in the 2018 bear, like I was buying very, very tiny amounts of Ethereum in the 2018 bear market, like €10 here and €20 there, like not stacking huge amounts because I was broke, or I was just working as a waiter, so I didn't have a huge amount of money. But when you make 50x on it and you've been buying €10 every week or every couple of days, that adds up, and you can actually make some money by buying in the depths of the bear market and buying in the lows that most people don't do. So now is actually probably the time to be bullish. Well, Solana has gone on a bit of a run, so like maybe you can wait for a bit more of a pullback, or the best strategy for most people, and including myself for sure, is just to be dollar cost averaging, as I always say. But obviously Solana comes with a bit of risks that we'll talk about in the future at the end of this video. But yeah, buying during the lows has enormous upside and much lower risk, actually. All right, enough about the price, because that's not really fundamental analysis. It's just not like, you can't just say, oh, this coin did this, so this next coin is going to do the same thing. It's not really fundamental analysis. There has to be a reason to back up that hypothesis. So let's get into more similarities apart from just the market cap swings and the price swings, the similar price swings between Ethereum in 2017 and Solana. So in 2017 and 2018, Ethereum was constantly getting attacked by Bitcoin maxis. Bitcoin maxis hated Ethereum, and still a lot of them hate Ethereum. And Solana is kind of experiencing the same thing from Ethereum maxis. Although I think Ethereum maxis are a little bit more open-minded when it comes to Solana than Bitcoin maxis were for Ethereum. But nevertheless, Solana took a lot of heat. VC chain, not decentralized, etc., etc. Like pretty much all the criticisms that Solana is getting now, Ethereum got the same criticisms in 2017 and 2018. It was not decentralized. It was VC backed. It was pre-mined, all this kind of stuff. So Ethereum was getting attacked, and Ethereum wasn't fully ready yet. Like back in 2017 and 2018, like Ethereum of today is nothing like Ethereum back then. There's been so many EIPs, like Ethereum improvement proposals, that have gone through and upgraded the Ethereum network. And people forget that Solana is still in beta. Solana isn't even like its fully finished product. It's still in beta. It's still kind of in a testing phase. And that's kind of the way ETH was in 2017 and 2018. And Ethereum is still going through its development stage. It's still not finished. Like Ethereum will be continually being upgraded for the next, like there's a lot of plans that the Ethereum Foundation want to onboard onto Ethereum. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of engineering brains to actually get that implemented. It's the exact same thing with Solana. Solana is nowhere near a finished product, but you can already start using it. Same with Ethereum. Like back in 2017 and 2018, all the main use case of Ethereum back then was just to do ICO rogues. Like there wasn't a huge amount of legitimate, useful activity on Ethereum back in 2017. But you see the difference between 2017 and now. You can see there's so much more useful activity happening on Ethereum. All of DeFi, all of NFTs and NFT marketplaces, all of the smart contracts being actually useful. Finally, Ethereum is starting to trend towards its final form and all of its potential use cases, while Solana has a long way to go. Their criticisms of Ethereum back in the day was that it's not decentralized. Does that sound familiar at all? People often say that Solana is extremely centralized. I was about to say undecentralized, but I realized there's a better word. Anyway, and Bitcoin maxis back in the day in 2017 and 2018 even like said, okay, fair enough, Ethereum could be useful for certain things. The network, like the smart contract network, the decentralized computer network could be useful for certain things. But why on earth does that mean that the token has to accrue value? And at the time, that was a very fair argument, just because like Ethereum's network was very useful and like there's no fundamental reason that the token had to accrue value, apart from like people speculating on the token. And that's a problem with a lot of projects currently. Like Uniswap is like one of the most useful marketplaces for trading shitcoins and buying NFTs. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the coin itself, the Uniswap coin, is going to accrue value. So that was kind of one of the problems that Ethereum's faced in the early days. But since then, we know Ethereum has gone through these EIPs, these Ethereum improvement proposals, like EIP 1559, which essentially burns a little bit of Ethereum in every single Ethereum transaction, which obviously, if you're burning Ethereum, reducing the supply, that's going to be good for the network. So that's one of the main fundamental reasons that Ethereum is accruing value, because back in 2017, like people would buy Ethereum to use Ethereum and then the transaction fee would go to a miner who would just sell it. But now it's going to a staker, and a staker probably wants to keep it to restake it and earn even more Ethereum rewards, and the other portion of it is getting burnt. So it's a much more efficient Ponzi now. But at the moment, Solana doesn't really have one of those implementations. Like there's no fundamental reason why the Solana token will accrue value. But this problem will be solved, in my opinion, in the next few years, just like it was with Ethereum. All right, so that's enough of comparing Ethereum to Solana. Let's just talk about Solana by itself. And why is Solana better than all the other layer 1 competitors to Ethereum? Well, like Avalanche, like Phantom. The problem with these other layer 1 competitors is they're all just using an EVM clone, like a Ethereum virtual machine clone. So they're kind of just copying Ethereum, making some small changes so it's a little bit faster. And because less people are using those networks, the fees are going to be cheaper. So people are like, oh look, Phantom's way cheaper. Yeah, but that's because no one is really using the network, so of course it's going to be cheaper. And also, they obviously did do some implementations, or did change, maybe do some small coding changes that improve the efficiency or improved X, Y, and Z, or has some implementations that are superior than Ethereum, but nothing completely drastically better than Ethereum. So a lot of the ulterior layer 1s are kind of like Cardano, the rest of them. There's not a huge amount going for them. Whereas Solana, it wasn't an Ethereum virtual machine clone. It created its whole new thing. But the difference with Solana, which was created by Anatoly Yakovenko, Anatoly worked at Qualcomm for years, and he kind of, when he was working there, kind of thought, was getting interested in blockchains, and then kind of came up with an idea that he was implementing in Qualcomm, which is like basically, how do you make silicon work faster? How do you make transactions, well, not transactions necessarily, but computations faster, as fast as possible? That's essentially what Qualcomm does. actually what he was working on at Qualcomm. How can I make computations as fast as humanly possible, or as computationally possible? He was like, okay, I can implement that into a cryptocurrency and develop a proof of history version. So he came up with this proof of history technology, which uses like time-based blockchain, whereas other blockchains don't integrate time into their blockchain. They just have the chain of blocks of transactions. But he introduced time into the blockchain. And for whatever reason, I don't know the ins and outs of the technology, but using this technology, Solana is extremely fast. It's way faster than Ethereum or any other, like Anatoly thinks once they finish Solana, it's going to be, he says it's going to be able to process more TPS than all the layer ones combined. So extremely fast, way faster than any other blockchain. Now you can see why an extremely fast blockchain is like it's not going to replace Ethereum, in my opinion. And I don't think Anatoly even probably thinks that. He thinks there's probably a possibility that it could, but I don't think that's what he's going after. Like, Ethereum is going to have its own use case, and Solana has its own use case. So Solana is just extremely fast because it has a different technology, whereas all the other alt layer ones use the same technology as Ethereum, or they just made some small changes rather than starting from zero and creating a whole new system. So like, for example, if I came along and created a smart contract L1 that was 10% or 20% or even 50% faster than Ethereum, no one's gonna give a shit, because like Ethereum already has massive network effects, already has massive like integrations built into it, products built into it, dApps built onto it, marketplaces built onto it. No one's going to care for 10 or 20% improvements. But when you're talking about Solana, it's orders of magnitude improvements in speed. So obviously there's going to be some use cases for extreme speed in the future when using blockchain technology. So that's one of the reasons why I think Solana has the best chance of becoming the number 2 blockchain, the number 2 smart contract, layer 1 blockchain after Ethereum. Now, maybe some layer 2 blockchains on top of Ethereum might be a bigger market cap than Solana, like Matic or Arbitrum or something like that. But I think Solana like is as fast, like basically what the layer 2s on Ethereum do. They're going to be able to do really, really fast transactions on top of Ethereum rather than doing them directly on the Ethereum blockchain. But Solana, you can actually process these transactions at lightning speed directly on the layer 1 blockchain. And as I mentioned, that's going to have some extreme use cases. And obviously there's some drawbacks with the proof of history architecture in the fact that it goes down a lot, because if there's something wrong, if there's a problem with the chain, the whole chain shuts down. If there's a mismatch in consensus or something like that, the whole chain pauses. Humans have to come in and see what the problem is and fix it, and then the chain can go back up. Whereas that doesn't happen with Ethereum, because they're different architectures. So there's trade-offs to both of them. So I don't think Solana's going to replace Ethereum before you get to thinking that like, oh, Solana's so much faster, it's going to replace Ethereum, it's so much better. Just steady your horses. There's still some risk with Solana. But the other bullish points for Solana is that it has an absolutely thriving developer community. Like, developers love building on Solana. It uses the Rust programming language, which is very popular and very easy to use. And developers are the ones probably have one of the best ideas of what blockchains are going to be useful in the future without even realizing that's what they're choosing. Because like, if you're willing to spend your hard-earned, if you're willing to spend your hard-earned time to invest in something, yeah, that's like a big commitment. But if you're willing to actually give up your time to invest in some project, like by actually building and coding on Solana, that's even more of a commitment, in my opinion, than just like investing in a project. So there's roughly 1,000 developers working on Solana compared to Ethereum's 4,000. So not like miles and miles less. And developers, as I said, are one of the best indicators of which blockchains are going to succeed, because developers know which blockchains are the most useful, or which blockchains are the best, which have the best tech. That's probably where the top developers are going to flock. And I wasn't at the conferences, the Solana conferences called Break